The one phone call that shocked a music executive. It started with a late-night phone call in 2006. Michael Jackson, living in Bahrain at the time, had just gotten off a long video call with his team in Los Angeles. His voice was tired, but his mind was racing. He dialed an old contact, a high-ranking music executive at Sony who had once helped launch the careers of some of the biggest bands in the world. "Tell me something," Michael said, calm but sharp. "Why do we reward noise?" The executive laughed, thinking Michael was joking. But the king of pop wasn't smiling. He went on to name 7 bands. Big bands. Bands that had sold millions of records. But to Michael Jackson, they were talentless. And that word, talentless, coming from someone like Michael, meant something more. It wasn't just about the music. It was about what they stood for or didn't. The phone call was never meant to be public. But parts of it leaked years later after Michael's passing. And fans were stunned. Why would Michael Jackson, the perfectionist who once rehearsed for 14 hours a day, call out these bands? The answers go deep into his childhood, his battles in the industry, and his painful relationship with fame. And it begins with a name that shocked everyone. The first band, Nirvana and the grunge revolution. "I don't get it," Michael reportedly said. "They're angry, dirty, and off-key. Is that talent now?" The first band on his list was Nirvana. It surprised many. Kurt Cobain was seen as a generational voice. Nirvana changed rock music in the 90s. But for Michael, it wasn't music. It was chaos. He didn't hate Cobain. In fact, some close to Michael say he felt sorry for him. But the sound, the look, the message? To Michael, it all felt dangerous. As a child star, Michael had been forced into clean perfection. Every move, every note, every outfit was rehearsed. When he watched Nirvana, he saw the opposite: rawness, rebellion, and emotional release. He didn't understand how the world could celebrate something so unpolished. He looked like he hadn't slept in days, Michael once said of Cobain during a meeting in 1993. "That's not music. That's pain on a stage." But was it jealousy? Or was Michael protecting something else? In private, he told his team, "If this is where music is going, I don't want to be part of it." Nirvana's rise in the 90s also marked the decline of pop dominance. And Michael felt it. He'd ruled the charts in the 80s. But now the crown was shifting, and it hurt. But Nirvana was just the beginning. Because the next band on his list, they were legends in their own right. And Michael's problem with them went far beyond music. The second band, Kiss and the Mask of Fame. "They hide behind makeup and fire," Michael said. But what were they really saying? The second band was Kiss. This time, fans weren't as shocked. Michael had always chased meaning, melody, and movement. Kiss, in his eyes, was more about image and volume. As a performer, he respected their stage presence. The fireworks, the costumes, the crowd energy. But deep down, he felt it was all an act, no soul. In the late 70s, when Kiss was rising, Michael was in the Jacksons, still trying to find his solo voice. He watched as the world went wild for blood capsules, demon boots, and pyrotechnics. But when he closed his eyes and listened to the songs, "They're loud, not lyrical," he said. The irony? Michael Jackson used makeup, masks, and mystery too. But he believed his art always had a message. In 1984, backstage at the American Music Awards, Michael reportedly avoided Gene Simmons. A crew member claimed Michael whispered, "He's playing a character. I'm trying to be real." And for Michael, that was the difference. It wasn't about selling a fantasy. It was about touching people, making them cry, dance, believe. With Kiss, he didn't see that. He saw noise and makeup, and yet he couldn't ignore the fans. Kiss had one of the most loyal fan bases in the world. But to Michael, popularity didn't equal purpose. And he would prove it, especially when it came to the next band. A band he believed stole their entire sound. The third band, the copycats who hit #1. They didn't just borrow, they copied. That's what Michael said about the next band, a group whose name isn't mentioned often in his public interviews, but one he privately couldn't stand. Milli Vanilli. By the time their scandal broke, when it was revealed they never sang a word on their records, Michael wasn't shocked. He was furious. "They tricked people," he told a friend in 1991. "Music is sacred. You don't fake it. But it wasn't just about the lip syncing. Michael believed Milli Vanilli were a symptom of a deeper sickness in the industry: image over integrity. To him, they were talentless by design, manufactured, molded, and marketed. Not artists, but actors. Michael had spent his entire life in studios, sweating over harmonies, crafting beats, and pushing for sonic perfection. And now here were two guys dancing on TV, becoming global stars without singing a note. The betrayal burned him. They didn't fall, Michael said later. They were never real to begin with. But the next band on his list? That one would cause real controversy. Because they weren't faking. They were just loud and proud of it. And Michael? He had something to say.